Welcome to CBAN's Member Spotlight. It's our opportunity to learn more about the amazing companies and communities and providers that are part of the CBAN family. And today I'm really excited to be talking to one of our newest associate members. Dave Stahr is the founder of ISP Rok. And Dave, thanks for agreeing to be on our Member Spotlight.
You bet. Glad to be here.
Well, let's just kind of start with a little bit of an overview of ISP Rok, who you are and what you guys do.
Sure. I'll make it as quick as I can. It's a long story, so you don't want to hear the whole thing. I actually was in Omaha years ago, decades ago, and a local ISP, WISP, called me up and they said, "Hey, we need your help." And I don't know anything about wireless internet providers or really internet at all. And I ended up coming back. Went and met with them and like, hey, we've got a T1 line here and we got one customer somewhere that's just taking all of our internet. And long story short, there ended up being my dad. And so we got him shut down, we got him closed down, but they had no bandwidth control. I didn't understand the importance of that at the time, but that was the very first thing we jumped into. While I worked there, we developed a billing system. We developed all of our network monitoring and management. I didn't know that at the time it was going to build what's become ISP Rok today. It kind of went through a few iterations. I worked with a couple of different ISPs through the years and kept making it better and better. We actually dropped billing out in our first iteration and then added it back in about 10 years later. And,
Interesting.
So yeah, we're fully cooking and moving and working with. We actually have international customers now, so that's been interesting. We're looking at moving into adding languages and things into the system as well. So
fantastic.
That's really quick. That was start to finish. So,
well, you guys have really, you've grown a solution that originally you started to solve your own problems, and now it's being used to solve other problems. What were the challenges that you see we're facing small ISPs that you've tried to address?
The small ones, I think, especially the uber small ones versus a single operator out there, obviously they can't be on the phone and fixing the problem all at the same time. So we've got some solutions for them using some voice over IP. Just one example would be if somebody calls in that their internet's down, well, before the phone even rings, the voice over IP system looks and goes, "Oh, hey, this is Curtis and his internet's down." So rather than even ringing, it goes, "Hey, Curtis, we're sorry your internet's down." I'm sorry, it doesn't say Curtis. It says, we see that your internet's down. We're working on it. We're going to get it going as soon as we can. And, usually Curtis doesn't need to stay on the phone and talk to the owner at that point. He just wanted the guy to know he was down. So that really cuts down on a lot of calls during an outage for a small operator. The other thing is just knowledge, helping them out. It's not necessarily the biggest part of what we do, but just consulting and engineering and helping out with little things that are here and there. We can all learn from each other. My gray hair here says I've been around for quite a while, so we've picked up quite a bit of information through the years, and we love helping people out, especially the smaller guys.
Well, that's what CBAN's all about, right? Is we feel like we can share best practices among our folks in our network. Maybe help prevent them from making a mistake that somebody else did, that they're going to come out ahead in the end. So that's the whole goal here. Most of our members are smaller operators. It sounds like a lot of your customers are smaller operators too. And one of the things that's always been interesting to me as someone who's been playing in this field for 25 plus years is how small operators have the same challenges and problems as big operators, but they often have much more limited resources, human resources, knowledge, etc. So with the complexity that goes into a billing or an operational support system and management, how have you guys tried to address that with those smaller operators?
On the billing side, it doesn't matter if it's a smaller operator or a bigger operator. We've really kept the billing routines custom. We don't try to build one of the other software providers in our space. I counted them. There's 138 different admin options for billing.
Wow.
Even if I ran that, I wouldn't know what to do. So we write a custom billing platform for everybody, and the base is the same, right? I mean, you're running credit cards, you're running ACH transactions, you can take cash. None of that's custom. That's all the same. But how does it work? What day do you want your billing? When do you want them to be shut off? Rather than making people swim through options, which really ultimately locks them into, if we had menu options, they're locked to those menu options. They're always going to come back and say, well, but I don't want, just an example. We had a customer in Jamaica who didn't want any emails to go out on the Sabbath. They're very religious.
Oh,
we just don't want anything to go between Friday, I think it was Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. No communications. No big deal. We just modified our messaging system and they don't get any. So, Saturday night, they might get a bunch of emails, but that's just one example. Everybody's got their own sauce of how they want their billing to work. I'm not here to tell them how to do it. We always ask our customers, how do you want it to work? And that's how we build it. And again, it's just pieces of the puzzle. We're not totally writing our whole entire platform custom for everybody, but
sure.
Their piece of how it works is absolutely, I'd say every single customer we have, every single one of them has a different way of doing it.
Yeah. I love that fact that you're not doing a cookie cutter approach necessarily. And you're letting the operator guide that. That seems really unique in the business.
Interesting that you say that, because to me, it's like, how else would you do it? I mean, that it has to be. The word customer starts with custom. So I always see it that way. And everything we do, somebody asks us to do. There's really nothing in our platform that somebody somewhere through the last 30 years doesn't say, hey, can you make it do this? Sure. And the answer is always, yeah, we can make it do that. We might not do it right away, or we might say, hey, yeah, we can do that, but that's so custom that we're gonna have to do some, maybe some cookie cutter billing on that to deploy that for you. And they do. They're happy to do that, and we're happy to do it too. But usually, 95% of the time, if somebody's asking for something, somebody else can use the same tool, and then we're not even charging them to develop their custom tools. So it's fun.
Now, your onboarding process, let's talk a little bit about that, because it seems to me we're kind of, at least my experience the past few years, 2 or 3 years at CBAN has been, we're going through a wave of operators that are looking for new solutions. They're looking for a different way to do the things they've been doing in the past, whether it be billing or operational support, provisioning, all that stuff that goes into that. But they're often, the daunting task they face is nobody wants to go through the conversion process.
Sure.
So let's talk about that conversion process. What does it look like if a company reaches out to you and say, yeah, we're ready to go with ISP Rok? What does that transition look like, the onboarding?
Sure. Well, absolute worst case scenario, we sit and enter everything manually. But that's not what we're going to do.
Okay.
All of the other major players out there, we've got import routines from them. Some of them only have the ability to export a CSV file or something. And if that's the case, we have a tool on our side where we document how to do that. We're actually working on our own tool to make it really, really nice, to where it's going to be basically a little web app that we hand to our customer to do the onboarding. And then they can see everything work, because it's one thing for us to see all the information and the data coming in and be comfortable with it, but it's daunting for a customer coming in. How can they be sure everything's right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So we're building a system now to where they will be in the control. They'll be in the seat to see all that data come in. Now, they don't have to do anything, especially I'm not going to name our competitors off, but the ones that are out there that have some kind of an API ability, those are pretty much automatic. We're going to bring in all of the historic billing, all the customers, all their service plans and products and tickets and images and just everything that's there. And even if it doesn't fit directly into our system today, we're going to suck all that information out and store it in a little holding database to where we can get that imported at a later date if there's something that we don't do yet. Trying to think about what that would be. We're pretty much doing everything now, but
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how it is. We try to onboard and do the majority of the work for our customers, so they don't have to do it. My sales director, it's not really a joke, but when people ask us, she goes, well, just tell us what weekend you want it done, and you go home on Friday, and then on Monday when you come in, it's finished. And that's really true. It's actually faster than that. But we do. We're working on another situation where we're trying to do a synchronization between our competitors and us. So it's not even a choice. Like, because some of the bigger customers we have, they don't really want to have one platform. They might have
Sure.
multiple different businesses. They might have had acquisitions, and they say, this company over here is using platform X, and this one's using platform Y, and we're platform Z. And I'm like, great, let's integrate. Let's have all the data synchronized to us anyway. I'm probably not going to try to make X and Y sync together to each other, but if we want to be the single pane of glass for our customers for everything that they do. Now that said, there's tools out there that we're not trying to reproduce everything. Like just, for example, Cambium and CN Maestro, or Ubiquity and UISP. Keep those platforms. Your fiber stuff that you use. Keep those platforms. We're not trying to take them away. We're just trying to make it so that the most used tools and the vision is all there with what we do.
Fantastic. One of the other challenges that an operator faces, especially a smaller operator, but it's really any size operator. It's not just that transition, but and especially the smaller guys tell me that that some of the solutions that are out there just don't scale well for somebody with 500 subs, 800 subs, whatever. So talk a little bit about how you've addressed that. It seems to me you have very reasonable pricing, and it's presented in such a way that makes it easy for somebody to understand what they're actually getting themselves into.
Yeah, for sure. The scaling is something that was important to me, looking at doing this. We early on had our own data centers, and it's okay. They work great, but something's going to break. Power supply is going to go out, or there's a blizzard and the power's out, or whatever. And so we've moved everything to the cloud now. And once you're there, and it doesn't matter. We got stuff at AWS. We're looking at moving things to Google Cloud also. We've got a lot of data center companies out there that are trying to court us, and I don't know them, so I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of concerned about moving to somebody I don't know. But the big cloud providers out there, they cost a little bit more, but there's nothing to worry about from our perspective or for our customers. It's just stuff's going to stay up. I don't care how good I might be. I am not as good as the entire staff at AWS or Google Cloud. I mean, I can't compete with that, nor do I want to. They're really, really good at what they do, and I'm going to let them do it. I've been at some of the other cloud providers out there and had problems with servers not working right, and staffing not being what it needs to be. And so yeah, everything scales great. Our platform itself is, I suppose, kind of boring for people to listen to, but it's just very clean. The code's super clean. We write everything in-house. We don't use any kind of management or what do they call rapid development tools. There's a lot of great ways you can make programs really quickly using those tools. Now there's a thing called AI that we use a lot. And when I go to AI, when we write stuff, our first directive to it is keep this very simple and clean. I don't want to use a bunch of libraries out there. And it's like, great, we can do that. And this system's very basic. It's the back end is the database structure is put together in a thoughtful way that makes sense, very efficient. And so yeah, when we scale, it really doesn't require a great big huge server to scale to thousands of customers or tens of thousands. And if it does, so what? You just go to your cloud provider and you upgrade the server to a bigger server. It's not a problem.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about the world in general, the big world, even beyond what you guys do at ISP Rok. What do you think are some of the big challenges that ISPs are facing in today's environment? Is it just competition? Is it technology? Is it all the above? What are some of the challenges you see out there?
It's a great question. We've got different kinds of customers. Some of the customers that I have like to complain about, my competitor's moving in, I'm losing all my business. I don't think it's the service, wireless versus fiber, or obviously if you've got fiber, great. But I think people lose customers not because their speed's not fast enough. It's their customer service. It's what they do for their customers. What we tell our customers is get in there and do more for your customer than your competition is. So 30 years ago, it was, oh, well, we just provide the internet and that's all we do.
Mm.
You can't get your Xbox working. Hey, that's your deal. We don't touch that. I think that's the wrong mentality today. Plus, if you go in and start doing more services for your customers, that's more revenue. I'm not all about making money. That's not what inspires me, but you do have to make money to make a business work.
Sure.
And if all you're doing is just providing the internet, you're missing out because your customers have all this technology that has to work. Go help them with it. Because is your competitor going to come in and make sure that their printers and their Wi-Fi and everything works? Probably not. Or if your competitor does do that and you're not, then you're that one that's going, oh, I'm losing all my customers. I don't know why. So I think that's the challenge. Customer service, go above and beyond what you think you need to do to just be an ISP, I think is a huge key.
That's exactly the focus of our spring summit. And ISP Rok will be at our spring summit with an exhibit in our exhibition hall. We're totally focusing on the customer experience this year. And as that, rather than wringing your hands and wondering if competition is going to steal your customers, the ways that operators can go out there and reinforce that relationship with their customers so that they're sticky. They're not likely to stray. Always have a few, but try to keep it as sticky as possible.
Yeah, you're going to have those customers that just always move around because they think something else is better. And that's the other thing. If you're going to lose a customer, don't be a jerk about it.
Yes. Amen.
Again, without naming any other providers, if they're moving to a technology that's maybe a long ways away from where they are up in the air, that's a great platform, but there's certain things it's not great for, and they'll be back if you leave the door open for them to come back. But if you burn that bridge, there's other people out there.
That is always advice I've given over the years is, make sure when they leave, make sure they're welcome back whenever they want to come back, and that you'll always be there for them. And if their experience is such that they decide they would rather come back, open arms, come on in, let's go. No hard feelings.
And it sucks losing a customer, especially, we're growing now. We've got a larger staff than we used to, but a decade ago, I was a one-man show with one dude that ran an ISP that, was supposed to be selling the platform, and that didn't work out great. But it is personal. Right. I mean, this is your baby. For me, it's this platform. So it is hurtful when somebody is going to leave. Now, that said, we've lost one customer in 30 years, and I would hope well, he told me he'll be back. He just was in a hurry for some things that we didn't have yet, and I understand. But everything else, people don't leave. We sign them up. They don't want to leave. And now if they want to, they sure can. We have no contracts. It's you come in, and if you want to leave the next month, you're sure welcome to. I don't believe in holding people hostage by a piece of paper. I want to win your business by the fact that our system works really, really well and you like our staff.
Yeah. That's a great philosophy, and that's the same philosophy a lot of our other CBAN members follow. As we wind up here, Dave, I'm going to ask you to polish up your crystal ball a little bit. What's next for ISP Rok? Where were you guys going, and what you got stuff on your timetable here that you're working on that you're excited about?
Yeah, we're constantly building. We've got integrations going with a whole bunch of platforms that honestly need to be there. Some bandwidth management like Pre-Seam and Baquant and Libra Anima, Libra QE, TP-Link. We're doing some stuff with them. But the challenge right now is just staying on top of all those integrations while we're onboarding customers. That's our immediate challenge. But looking forward beyond that, I think I kind of hit on it earlier, the ability to do more tech services, not just an ISP. ISP Rok is actually a sister company to an MSP called Virtual Gurus, and we're really good at that side of stuff too. So I think the marriage of putting that technology, that side of our company, and handing that to our customers, I think that's got a future in it that I don't even know what it's going to look like yet. I hired a new CEO here a couple months ago. That was I had to step back and and let somebody with bigger mind than I have come in and start having some better ideas. And I think that'll probably happen again. But whether that's where it goes, I don't know. I believe in God, and God puts stuff in front of us, and sometimes doors shut and other ones open, and I'm just along for the ride. I wake up every morning, and I really have no clue what I'm going to do that day. So
grip the handlebars and
Yep.
go for the ride. Exactly.
We're going.
Well, hey, I appreciate you taking time today to share your perspectives with us. We at CBAN really appreciate ISP Rok becoming an associate member, and also coming to our spring summit. We hope people that are watching this now are coming to our spring summit April 1st through 3rd, and if they are, they'll stop and talk to you.
Hope to see them there. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Our guest today on the episode has been Dave Stahr. He is the founder of ISP Rok. And thank you for joining us here on our CBAN Member Spotlight.
You bet. Thanks.